You've been there, settling in for an evening of TV only to waste half the night scrolling. Enter Fire TV, entertainment with zero effort required. Fire TV serves up personalized recommendations from across all your apps. Not sure what to watch? Just tell Alexa Plus what you're in the mood for and she'll pull up the perfect recommendation. Problem solved. Stop the scroll, start the show. Find what you're looking for with Fire TV. Subscriptions may be required.
Excuse me! Taxi!
Come on, what are you doing? This is the 77 WABC minicast.
And we are back here on Cat and Cosby, and let's go to our favorite senator, Senator Kevin Cramer, joining us now. And Senator, boy, oh boy, there is so much going on. Let's talk about Iran and the politics of Iran. Where do you think this is headed? Because if you look at some of the folks, especially mainstream media, you look at some of the Democrats, it's almost like they're rooting for America not to succeed. But look, it's been extraordinary, the success that President Trump and the Israelis have had.
Boy, you teed it up perfectly, Rita, for sure. Why Democrats, so many Democrats are cheering for the United States to lose it used to be a perplexing to me, but this thing called Trump derangement syndrome is very real. So the things that previous Democratic presidents talked about doing but never had the guts to do, and I might add some previous Republican presidents, this president is doing, and I think the fact that he's the one doing it is part of the problem. However, I worry that there's a deeper problem happening in our country, and that is just anti-Semitism that is becoming so prevalent in our institutions and in both political parties, but far, far worse than the left. I think partly because the left relates more to the Arab world for some reason. I don't get it because there are a lot of really good, wonderful, conservative Arab leaders in Arab nations.
I think the Arab world has switched.
I think so
I think
too,
they
John.
feel more comfortable with Trump than they did with Biden.
I think that's exactly right. Particularly, and let's just tee it up. I like to do this because let's not forget that in Trump 1, the first term, he laid the groundwork for peaceful coexistence in the Middle East between Arab nations and Israel. The Abraham Accords were by every measure a historical major success. Well, then we have the Biden years, and a lot of that starts crumbling, although the countries that signed up were still on board. You had Saudi Arabia now considering a little bit of more modernization, if you will, when it comes to the relationship. And then this happens, and what I think was interesting is you see Bahrain and Azerbaijan and UAE and even Saudi Arabia, who sort of stayed out of it for a little bit because they would need to be careful. It's a tough neighborhood. But in retaliating against the United States, what did they do? But Iran retaliates against their frenemies, and they drove them right into our arms in many respects, John. And I really think that's part of the deal. But what's going on in the United States with opposition to this, you just have to just ignore history to even not realize how important what the president is doing and how important.
Are your constituents, Senator? Are your constituents feel okay, or they're starting to get nervous over the price of oil? But your constituents are making money on oil.
So you touched on an important point. North Dakota is a commodity-driven economy. Now, we like low-priced gas at the pump, but we do like high-priced oil. And same with, we like our cornflakes cheap, but our corn expensive, our steaks cheap, but our cows expensive. So wait.
On the steaks? How do you like the steaks?
Medium rare?
I like mine medium, but I do like it less expensive. No, we get it. See, we get the cycles of commodity prices, and by the way, the greatest cure for a high-priced commodity is low-priced commodities, and vice versa. It's what happens. Now, this is obviously, having an impact in a big way in a short time, and it'll have a big impact on the other end when it's over, and I think this will be over quickly.
I mean, you go to a restaurant in New York and you want to order a good steak, it's $85.
Well, fortunately, you can afford it. John.
Yeah, but
I'd even let you buy me one if I was there.
Anytime.
Wow. Before we let you go, Senator, too, you and I were chatting earlier about the $200 billion that's being asked. This is the supplemental. Talk about that and where you think that's going to go. That's the Pentagon asking for that kind of money.
Right, and we haven't seen details yet on it, Rita, but $200 billion is a big chunk, and there was talk of a $50 billion request a little earlier. And I will tell you this, I don't know that they need $200 billion. It's up to them to demonstrate that. However, I think it's important for people to know that two things. One, we are just heading into the budgeting season for national defense. I'm on the Armed Services Committee. We have the National Defense Authorization Act coming up. We've been having the posture hearings every day and a lot of briefings in the SCIF. So we're preparing for that anyway. So a supplemental at this point almost becomes the front end of the rest of the baseline appropriations, which the president has already said he'd like to get up to $1.5 trillion. And he and I have talked a lot about it. So I don't find it to be that big of heartburn. But the other thing to remember is we are blowing up lots of things. We are creating a deterrent for all of our enemies who thought that it was going to be easy to take on the United States of America, that we didn't have the will to fight for freedom. And you also have all of those munitions that we're using to take out their munitions will have to be replaced, but they'll be replaced by much more modern munitions. We are in a very fast-paced modernization process right now with our national defense. And so I actually don't find that $200 billion to be such an unreasonable request. I think if whatever it's used in this fight, whatever's left will be used for the next one.
Right.
Well, Senator, thank you so much for coming on, and keep up the common sense, and we need it in Washington, and we'll catch up with you again real soon.
Thank you.
I hope steak's not $100 by the time I get there.
Yeah, right.
Great to talk to you, Senator. Have a good weekend.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.